know if you know that or not.
I know, but yeah.
The hilarity, of course, is that I put them in there whenever I do this, but...
So we're live, I think, I guess.
Do
so
they know now
they can hear us.
They know my opinion on hashtags?
They might know your opinion. I don't know. I don't know when it gets cut off,
okay.
so...
Hashtagers are stupid. Hashtag.
You relaxed?
Not yet.
Having a relaxing day?
Oh.
It is 8:30, so quiet on
Oh,
the set.
snap!
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Cooking with Unity. Where the heck's my camera? I'm your host, Max Moreau, and with me is my co-host, Philip Wilson.
Hello.
That's his hand.
He's
totally here.
Yeah.
He's not a computer-generated entity or anything. I actually do have a friend, at least one friend. You are my friend, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So on our last episode...
Hello, Internet people.
Let me switch over to where you can actually see my screen. And on our last episode, we added a little dude, and we made it so that we can shoot at him in a horrible way. And where's my shoot button?
Shoot at him in a horrible...
And yeah, there he goes. He just turns into a horrible pile of blood cube.
Can we make the blood cubes bigger?
Oh, and you can just run into him. Hold on. Open field tackle.
That's fantastic.
All right, so let's fix that little bug real quick first, just because it's easy to fix. So let's go to our prefabs and our blood cube, and let's make it a little bit smaller than
You mean
1
a little
meter
bit bigger?
across. No, I was thinking a little smaller.
Oh.
Let's see if this is a little less crazy. There we go. Now we're still colliding with the blood, which is kind of cool.
It kind of is cool, actually. I kind of like it. What needs to happen is if you get the guy near enough to those to that spinning, then the blood cubes will probably still move around.
Oh yeah, if we move him closer so that he can like explode into something else, he'll probably get killed by the spinner. Actually, yep, he did.
That's funny. Yep, I like it.
All right, so
we need more enemies.
We need more enemies. Well, we need to do a few more things, but I actually want to focus on something else this episode. But
let's start on it.
Let me first I do want to just fix it so that we don't collide with the blood cubes. I'm going to put the blood cubes on their own little layer.
Aww.
Called blood cube. Blood. Let's just call it blood. And we're going to put this on the... Wait, no. We're going to put the blood cube on the blood layer. And we're going to go into our project settings, physics, 2D. And we're going to make it so that the
blood
layer only collides with blood.
Not even the ground?
No, it should collide with... Okay, so it shouldn't collide with the player, and it shouldn't collide with enemies. We want it to collide with ground. We don't want it to collide with player bullets. Basically, we want everything except for... Yeah, that'll do.
Well, let's try it out.
So, now... And I have it still colliding with itself, so it piles up nicely. So it still piles up nicely, but it doesn't actually affect our game anymore. I think I'm going to keep it like that. Yay.
I think it's funny that he's hiding behind the carnage.
If we wanted to look more like a pile, I guess we could also modify the collider a little bit. So, like, let's remove the box collider 2D, put a circle collider 2D, and make it smaller than its normal radius.
Yeah.
Let's see what this does.
The blood now rolls.
Yeah, maybe circle collider's not the best choice.
I like the box collider.
Alright.
We just need to reduce the size of it.
Physics 2D box collider. And we'll make the size 0.25.
That'll probably be fine.
And I'll just shoot him this time. Yeah, that looks really good. That looks real good, actually. That looked like professional. It looked like there was like more happening than actually was happening.
Oh, it's dripping.
Yeah, one of them managed to slip between the very small cracks.
Nice.
Guess it got pushed through, probably pushed through the collision. All right, so
there's no gravity on those guys yet.
That's a thing happening. Yeah, we can fix that if we wanted to.
No, we should work on
gravity
the other
scale
thing
1
first.
and see what happens. Although he just has a trigger, so he probably will fall through the ground. Oh, even better. He'll just fall and hit the ground and explode.
That's funny.
Let's work on that later. I want to get started on, because I think this is going to be a I want to do on-screen controls. We haven't done them on the show before, and they're not as easy as they should be, or maybe they're as easy as they should be, but they're not,
Incredibly easy.
It's not intuitive the first couple times that you set this stuff up.
Yeah.
So we could do some stuff with mouse down, mouse up, but I was doing some experiments with it earlier, and it's a little bit buggy. I ran into some bugs with the mouse on, mouse down, on, mouse up stuff. B, I'm not actually sure if it does work on iOS. I've heard that it does work on iOS now. And C, it doesn't have behaviors that we need for touch controls, unfortunately. Like, if you're on a D-pad on a touch control, and you slide your thumb from, like, the left side to the right side, you would want to have that switch control directions. Whereas in a mouse down and mouse up scenario, you'll still have a mouse down on the first thing that you touched.
Yeah.
And so the terminology and the way that it's set up doesn't exactly work for that. So first off, I didn't actually put the link in naturally. That's the one thing I forgot. On my Twitter, you can find the link, and that's where I'm going to find it. Where is it? I guess I need to look at my tweets, not other people's tweets. Here we go, opengameout.org. We've got this, Kenny, the same guy that made our cool little characters, actually, has released on CC0, again, public domain, an on-screen controls pack, which we're going to download. And what this is it's a bunch of icons and stuff, iconography for actually making on-screen controls for touch games. So,
Which is pretty cool.
Which is super awesome, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on my desktop here. Maybe I can just drag it in here. Let's see how this is actually organized real quick. Come on. Alright, preview, sprites, vector. So, they have vector. That's kind of nice.
That's
oh, wow.
sweet.
SVGs and SWFs. That's cool. Well, we're going to go with the other things here. Flat dark, flat light. Shaded light. Okay, so there's a few different packs here.
Neat.
I'm going to go with flat dark. I kind of like the way that it looks. Or is shaded dark better? Shaded dark. I'm going to go with shaded dark. Because it's all fancy.
Neato.
And, what just happened there? Oh. Evidently, Explorer crashed. Alright. Not Explorer. What is it called on Mac? Finder. Finder crashed. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab the whole Shaded Dark library and just throw it into our game here. I'm going to put it under... Create... put it under sprites, actually. Create new folder. We're going to call these controls. And we will drag in the contents of Shaded Dark into here.
I like that idea.
And I think they will import as sprites, which is fine. We could probably put them on a sprite sheet if we wanted to, but I'm not going to bother.
It's not really
it's only
needed.
a couple draw calls that we're talking about here anyway. So wait, what's the difference between this one and different dots or something? Okay, cool. We've got a lot of options here. So we have our buttons here. I'm going to go ahead and make them so that they're kind of on the screen. And we'll get fancier with how we actually implement them in a bit. But I want to first just get
at least them on the
screen. Let's see what we can do here. I'm going to put them as a child of the camera. So I'm going to call this D-pad. We're going to put this under the camera. And I'm going to put just like another button over here on the right hand side. And we're going to call this jump. But
the A button.
That's the appropriate button for jump, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Traditional for a Nintendo, at least. So if I hit play on this, we'll have a couple of little floating controls that kind of go with us on the screen. We haven't done any real good positioning on them or anything yet.
No, that's not needed at the moment. It's just to hold their places.
So let's just try and get the first basic functionality of touching these things. So I'm going to create a new C# script. That's not what I wanted. That's JavaScript. Don't want that. You can use JavaScript. There's nothing wrong with JavaScript. I just am more used to C#. And generally, you want to stick with one language for ease of communication between the different scripts. But so C#, what we're going to call this, I'm going to actually call it Input Manager because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a very sparse input manager to start with. But we're going to try and make this into a really great script today that can be used on your own projects.
Sweet.
So I'm going to create a new empty game object just to represent our manager here, and I'm going to put it like 100 in the Y direction so that we don't have to deal with it. And we're going to put the input manager script on it already. I'm just going to call it $input manager so that it shows up at the top. This will be a singleton by the time we're done too, but right now we're just going to do some tests here and make some things work. So, input manager. What we want this thing to do, one of its tasks is going to be to get touch input and mouse input and determine. I'm going to handle both on here so that we can show testing on the screen here. I also have my phone with me and a video camera so that we can actually show it working on device.
Neato.
With multiple touches and stuff. So touch input is pretty complex, but so we've got input.touch, and so we can do input.touches gives us all of the touches on the screen, and the type that it returns is what is a touch?
Oh, what is it?
It returns a touch. It's called a touch. So it's its own little thing. So it's not just a touch position immediately. So let's first just do.
Should just do it with mouse.
Let's do it with mouse first, so that people understand what's going on. So that's a great idea.
Because mouse and touch inputs are very, very similar.
So if input dot get mouse button down. Actually, let's just do get mouse button. So if it's on at all, and we're going to use button 0. So if we use the button 0, we're going to have to do a raycast into the screen. So basically, when we get the mouse, it has a position, and we're going to raycast into the screen from that position using some of the built-in functionality here. So there's a function in the camera. So if we do camera.main and search for viewport, I think. So there's a viewport point to ray, which is super useful. So this allows us to get a ray from a viewport point, and actually there's even a is there a screen point to ray?
I think there is.
There's even a screen point to ray.
Yes.
Perfect. So screen point is perfect for us because screen point is actually the pixel position that we're on, and that's exactly what we get when we get input.mouse position. So we're going to do input.
Isn't it actually on a scale of 0 to 1?
0 to 1.
If you actually read the XY coordinates on it, I think it is.
No, that's viewport. That's
Is
viewport.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
screen is coordinates. So, and I think that you get screen space. We'll find out. We'll see problems real quickly. So, what are we gonna do? We're gonna do screen point array. We want to get the input dot mouse position, which is already a vector 3. So this just works. And then we're going to feed this into ArrayCast. So we're going to do physics.raycast, kind of typing out of order here. So the first thing we need is array, and actually we could do it with just array, but we need to do more than that. So we're going to do one that has array, hit info.
You could do a touch.position, right?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do when we do the touch stuff. But we're going to start with mouse just to show how this works first.
Sorry, I'm looking at my old code.
No worries. So we want one that has a output hit info. So I think with rays we need to have a distance in there as well. So we'll do out hit and just hit. I haven't made it yet. I'm sorry. Just don't ignore me, Unity, for a moment. And then we'll do the distance of infinity. Math f dot infinity. So there's array. So is that actually a valid one? Ray distance layer? No. Ray.
What I did is ray equals current camera screen point to ray mouse dot position, right?
Yeah. Input dot mouse position.
Yeah, out hit and then math infinity.
There it is. Yeah. Ray distance layer mask. That's all I was. Oh wait, ray distance layer mask. Now where's the ray hit info distance?
Yep. That's
so
it.
weird. Okay. And we're gonna put this in an if statement. So that if we hit something with our array,
something will happen.
And we're going to actually have to make this variable hit. So this is going to be hit info, raycast hit. And this will contain the information on what we actually hit in the scene. So, as I said, screen point array, this is kind of a magic function. You give it mouse position, and it will totally, whatever you have it over, it's shooting array into the scene under that mouse.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually supports perspective correction too. So like we don't have to worry as much in this case. We could probably write our own function to do this.
That's exactly what I did in my code.
Yeah. This is you're looking at
yeah, I'm looking at my
robot
game.
alone. Yeah. So the thing is, so even if you have perspective, this will handle perspective. It actually shoots it out from at the proper angles and stuff, so that everything works properly. So if it hits the object, it should get something. And so the object has to have a collider of some kind, which we're going to give these objects colliders, but they don't have them right now. And then what we're going to do once we have this is we're going to take the hit dot.
The hit dot collider.
Hit.collider.gameObject, and we're going to
okay,
we'll get
sorry.
We're going to send message, and the message will be called. We're going to call this. So this one is if you're touching the mouse button. Let's do mouse button down.
Good call.
And so this is going to be send message. I don't want to call it on mouse down because that already exists, and so we're going to call this something else. I'm going to say as if we're touching things. So we're going to use on touch down.
Oh, fair enough.
And I'm additionally going to, just in case we need it, send the actual input.mouse position as well. We're probably not going to need it, but I want to show that you can actually do this type of stuff. Alright, so what we're going to do now, and we don't need to require a receiver, sorry. So we need to, send message has value, there we go. And then send message options. So this one's going to be send message options don't require receiver, because if we click on something that doesn't have something that handles this, we don't care. So we have this on our input manager. So our input manager does something, but it doesn't actually do anything yet. So we need to actually have something that actually gets one of these clicks. So I'm going to say on touch down debug is what I'm going to call this script.
Nice.
And all it's going to do is we're going to create a void on touch down. And we're going to have it take a vector 3 mouse position. And I'm just going to have it do debug.log. We touched. We got touched at.
Oh my. At mouse position.
Mouse position.
That could be on a t-shirt.
So if we go to our D-pad now, actually I'm going to put it on the jump button. So we'll look at our jump button. We're going to add a. I'm going to try Physics 2D. It should still work, but I'm actually interested to see if this does work as a box collider. I'm not sure if it will. And we're going to attach the on touchdown debug. And so if we hit play, and we go to our console and click on the A, absolutely nothing happens. Also, we're jumping because if we click anywhere, we jump right now. So first, let me get rid of that little feature. Project settings, input, and we're going to get rid of on Fire 1, we don't want to have
mouse 0
as an all positive button. So I'm going to go back to our jump button. Oh, Z10. That might be part of the problem, maybe. Wait, where are these?
Shouldn't be.
So that's.
Oh yeah, that
is
might
that further
be part
than
of
camera
problem.
or?
Let's go negative.
Yeah, so yeah. Let's go to like -1, so we guarantee this on top. This may still not work. Huh.
Camera's at -10. It should be showing up. Where is it if you change your view to a 3D view? I mean, it's in front of everything, right? Should be.
Oh, it's way too far in front. Okay, so why is that?
That explains it. Oh, because
do we have
it's
some
a child.
scaling or something on the camera?
No, it's a child object.
Oh yeah, of course. So one
so
is
it's behind
perfect.
it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So feel
that makes sense.
silly.
All right, so hit console, click the A. Still doesn't work. That's what I figured. So we're going to have to use a different type of collider on here. So we're going to get rid of the box collider 2D, remove component, physics, box collider. This one should work, hopefully. And this is running, right? Input manager is running. Yeah, it is. Okay, so we're going to hit play. Go to the console, click the A button. All right, it did work after a couple touches. Oh, okay, it got 3 touches. Yeah, it looks like it's working.
Good.
It's just collapsing them sometimes. So, and we actually get the touch position, which is cool. And actually, the touch position is probably not as useful as... because we can get that from the other thing. I'm actually going to change what we're sending out here. We're going to send out hit.point. So this will actually show us the point on the object itself in 3 space as to what got hit. So this is showing, yeah, exactly. And actually, if we move further to the right, you'll see that these numbers change because it's now in a different 3D position. So that may not be that useful either. But I'm just going to leave that in there anyway. So, so this is the mouse version. And so now let's make a touch version. So the touch version will look very similar. So if input.touches is greater than or equal to 0. Wait, no, it's greater than 0. So that means that we have at least one touch on the screen. So this time we're going to do a for each loop. For each touch in input.touches. Actually, we don't even need to check to see if this is greater than 0 because this will just fall out in our for each loop. So I'm just going to remove that. So for each touch in input.touches, we're going to do basically this exact same thing. I'm just going to copy and paste it for right now, and then we're going to change things. So if physics raycast, and so instead of input.mouse position, we're going to use touch dot position. And anything else we need to change? No, that actually may be it.
I think that's it.
So, so let's save this. And I'm going to wrap this in a little if. Let's make this primary a touch thing.
Sounds like a good idea.
So if application.platform
Yep.
equals
Runtime platform.
yeah, runtime platform dot iPhone player, or application.platform equals runtime platform dot
Android player.
actually, is there a
It's just
catch-all
called
by any
it.
chance?
It's
I'm
Android.
just curious. I'm just curious if there's a catch-all yet. There's not.
There
Okay.
is. It's Android.
No, I meant
Oh.
a catch-all for like mobile, like
Oh.
if application platform equals mobile.
Oh, I thought you were just
No,
talking
understood.
Android.
So we do the touch stuff, and then else we do the computer stuff. So in order to test this, we're actually going to have to build for iPhone. So I'm going to actually do that real quick. Build settings, we're going to change it to iOS. I'm going to add the current screen, get rid of whatever this is. I guess that's something we had before. And I'm going to build this and put it on my desktop. I'm going to call this iOS test. I'm sorry I'm showing iOS specific. If you're on Android, you probably already know how to build for Android, so just do that instead.
Yeah.
I don't have an Android device here right now, so.
I don't have an Android.
And honestly, the Android's probably easier to work with than iOS is, as far as these next few steps when I'm going to wrestle with Xcode here.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've heard that. It's easier to build for Android. You can actually just email yourself the executable, from what I understand, for Android.
I just realized this is probably not even going to show the icon on the screen with our current build, because I forgot to change some important settings. Hold on. Go back to project settings, player. So, yeah, we want this definitely to be landscape of some kind. So let's do auto rotation, landscape right, landscape left. And then I need to make... Is that... Okay, it's locked still. The wind's just really picking up tonight.
Yeah, it is.
So pushy pixels dot 2D Thursday. That's what we'll call the project. Save scene, save project, go back to build settings, build, replace, enable replace.
And we build.
And this should go pretty quick because we don't have a whole lot in the scene or anything.
Nice.
And I just realized that this isn't going to help us any either because our thing doesn't do anything but show debug information. Actually, it might show up on the... We'll see if it shows up in the...
I don't know if
it should.
It probably will show up in their debug log in Xcode.
Yeah. So let's open the file now. iOS test. Unity.
Into the wonderful world of Xcode.
Yes. You can see what Charlie Foxtrot it is at this point. So hit play. Look at all these warnings and weirdnesses and stuff. Who cares? Linking. And I'm going to actually see if it actually does something on the phone before switching to the camera, just in case it doesn't even work.
Yeah.
How are people tonight? Everyone good tonight?
I hope everyone's good. There hasn't been a lot of talking.
Honestly, I probably should set up the... Do I have a Unity remote on here
I
still?
have a question that says, what about a Raycast Hit 2D?
Raycast Hit 2D. That would work. Yeah, we could use Linecast. The thing is, Linecast assumes 2D, so it's always in the same plane. Like it doesn't. There's no concept of shooting from the front. I don't think.
Yeah.
So we want to actually use the 3D stuff for this.
Makes
Also,
sense.
I've had enough trouble with the 2D stuff that I'm already ready to say don't ever use it. But that's a lie. I wouldn't say don't ever use it. I would just say that I would stick with the 3D stuff for now until things solidify a little bit better on the 2D tools.
Yeah, I think
with
that's
regards to
probably
collision and stuff. But all right, cool. It's actually launching. That's a good sign. I'm gonna switch over to the camera.
Camera.
Got a phone. It says Unity. It has a game on it. All right. So we've got the game here. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be touching right here, and I'm going to see if something happens on the screen. So let me actually switch back over here. I can't touch from looking behind it anyway. So I'm going to hit the A button.
And we see that
It says we got touched at 4.7.
Yep.
Did I actually show that? I did show that. Good.
Yep.
So it is actually working with the touch stuff. That's exciting. So in this case, it actually updates while we move around and constantly refreshes. So that's because of some assumptions we're making. But the other one we were doing on mouse down, which is a little bit different because it only gives you one per click. And this one will give it all the time that you're on the screen, which is actually what we want for doing our D-pad stuff. But I just wanted to point it out. The way that we implemented it is slightly different. So these aren't one-to-one right now between the mouse stuff and the touch stuff. So I'm going to go back to the input manager here. And what are we going to do? So
what are we going to do?
So this is working. And this, so this is actually not on touchdown, as I said. This is happening no matter what. Now, we could make it on touchdown by checking to see if touch.phase, or wait, if, not uppercase touch, if lowercase touch dot phase equals, and then like touch phase dot began, then this is actually a touchdown event here. So we're not going to do that though, because actually what we want first is just to do on touch, and I'm going to call on touch over is what I'm going to call it. Over. And to make the equivalent for the mouse, I'm going to actually change this from get mouse button down to just get mouse button. So these should function identically now. So if you're testing, it'll actually function the way that you expect it to work. And then we're going to go back to our touchdown debug, and I'm going to change it to on touch over. And just make sure that things still work. Going to try and minimize the amount that we do on the device. So now, as you see, it streams as I move the mouse around. And if I just hold it on its place, does it actually continue to do touches, or does it do something else?
If you hold it, will you see a whole bunch of console?
I'm not going to collapse. Stop collapsing. All right. So, oh, what is it working?
392. Yes, it's definitely working. Look at that. 500.
Yes, it's totally working.
Yeah, it's absolutely working. Cool.
Cool. So, so now let's see here. How do we want to organize this? So this was a quick and dirty way of just getting messages sent over to the object. So I mentioned we were going to do an input manager. Does that make sense on here? Hold on. Yeah, this will be fine for right now.
Mm-hmm.
So so now let's look at one of our jump scripts and make it so that we can actually make the character jump. So right now we check to see if input.get button down, jump button, and anim.getBool grounded. So if we touch the jump button and we're grounded, we do a jump.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only place that we use input on this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make it so that so bool grounded equals false. I'm probably going to have to move that out of there. So we're going to create a new function called void jump. And this is going to do all of this stuff. And since we're working with so we're doing separable jump true, jump time, and then grounded. What do we do with grounded? Okay, grounded we don't have to worry about.
Yeah, to tell us that we could jump again, I believe.
So if we do all this, then we jump. Am I doing this the right way?
Yeah,
all right, this is not what I want to do.
This is going to be
writing myself into a corner here. All right, so what I actually want to do is make it so that we have a jump state, like the jump button is down state, and so we'll do that up here. We're going to do if input dot get button down jump input dot get button down jump button jump. First of all, I'm going to create a new variable called bool jump pressed equals false. So if input.get button down, then we do jump pressed equals true. And we're going to put an or here. No, we're not going to put an or there. So jump pressed equals true. And we actually need to make this into a private variable up here. Private jump pressed equals false. We still need to set it to false at the beginning of the frame.
Mm-hmm.
Do we? Oh, shoot. Is that going to work?
No, we'd need to have it false when it lets up.
Hold on. So jump pressed equals false. So we're going to be setting this. So in our on touch. So void on touch over. We're actually going to want to set up a touchdown on this one, but I'm just going to use the one that we've set up right now to test. Jump pressed will be equal to true. So, so this will be reset to false the next time that an update happens, which means that it's not going to work. So I'll just set this at the end of the function as opposed to the beginning of the function.
Sounds like a good plan.
And we'll see if this actually works. So if we save this, and we... Oh wait, on touch over, jump press equals true. So that doesn't actually help us. Because we need to have this on... We don't want this on the character itself. We want this on one of our buttons. Alright, we're going to actually have to make our input manager more of an input manager.
Sounds like a plan.
And priave is not a real thing. Private. Alright. I'm just going to save this for right now. Although I'm going to get rid of the on touch over portion. So I'm going to make this into a singleton. A real singleton. Because I actually have my singleton example here to work off of. And I don't feel bad about using it. So this is going to be our input manager singleton. So I'm just copying and pasting a little example here and changing the singleton example to input manager. And what this all does is we've got let me zoom in a little bit. I don't know why, or I guess it doesn't zoom anymore. Oh, it does. It's just that the buttons don't always work on this program. I forgot. So what we've got here is we've got this ensures that the object will only exist once. So if you go to another level, it'll continue to exist. And if you try to have two input managers, it will only have one input manager, so you can't shoot yourself in the foot. And it just does this very simply by checking to see if there is one, and if this is that one, and if it's not, it destroys itself.
Yeah.
So it's pretty basic, and then it has the don't destroy on load, which is a special function that makes it so that it doesn't die between levels.
I have a question. So what specifically do you not like about 2D?
I love 2D, but what I don't like about the 2D tool so far is the collision system has an inconsistent collisions with kinematic objects, and I haven't used it enough to know if there's other potential issues as well.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's different trigger behavior and collision behavior than the 3D one is already a reason for me to be wishy-washy on it. I'd be less worried if they had actually put that in the documentation, but they didn't. So now we're gonna have to do some magic stuff. So what we want in here is public bool jump button state. Okay, so jump down equals false. Public bool jump. So what do they use for? Hold on. Input dot get button. Okay, so there's get button gives you the state of it, and then get button down gives you the instant state. So we'll do jump button down and jump button to stay consistent.
All right.
Equals false. And this is organizing way differently than I thought I was going to need to do it. So jump button down, jump button false. So let's create a public game object. So this is a general interface for picking out anything in the scene, and it would just send a message to that scene. And that's actually not exactly what we want now. We want to actually make an input manager that fits for button control stuff. I'm going to keep this stuff here as well so that we can use it in case we need it. But we're also going to create some special case stuff here for our thing here. So we're going to do a public game object. So Raycast gets the collider, right? So let's actually use public collider. Public collider jump button collider. Actually, I'm going to call it jump button object.
Good call.
And so we will do this raycast, and then I'm just trying to figure out how I want to do this. So we could do it so that it's on the button. The button gets an on-touch over event. The button sends... Yeah, let's just do it on here. So if hit.collider equals jump button object, else we do our standard thing. So if we hit the jump button object, we're going to do jump button down, jump button down equals true, jump button equals true. This is not going to work, because when we start doing this with the for each loop, we're going to have more than one touch, and if you have more than one touch, we don't want it to...
Yeah, I had to start getting into finger IDs to have this work properly.
Alright, no, this is actually what we want. Yeah, we will get into finger ID stuff too, but and actually we don't need to get into finger ID stuff for this right here. at all.
No, not for
so,
this.
and actually not for this whole project. We don't technically need to do it. Now we could do it to make a really, really, really tight input manager, but we actually won't need it for this project. I don't think. You can say I told you so if we do. So if collider equals jump button object, we set these things to true. So in the case of jump button down, actually we don't want to set to true because this is the case. So we get these events repeatedly per frame, and so jump button down should only be true for one frame. So if jump button down equals false, then we set jump button down equal to true. And we set jump button to true in any case. And then at the end here, end of the update loop, no. At the beginning of the update loop, we set both of them to, well, no. Let's just do... Let's not worry about jump button down for right now. So jump button equals false. Save. Alright, so this will be true at the end of the update, which means that we want this to happen first before any other script. So I'm going to quickly add this to our script execution order. Actually, we probably can't do that because it's not compiling right now. Jump pressed equals, oh, private bool. Jump pressed equals false. Save. All right. So private field jump dot jump press is assigned, but its value was never used. Alright, so we don't care about that. So I'm going to go back to what I was doing. Project settings, graphics quality, script execution order. We're going to make sure that the input manager happens first. Put that all at the start and hit apply. And now that we have all this done, we should be able to go into our jump.cs, and I'm going to get rid of this stuff with the jump press stuff. And so if input.getButton down jump button or input manager.instance.jump button, we'll put these in brackets so that they come first. So if this or this and we're grounded, then we jump.
Yes.
So in theory, when we hit save here, we're going to go to our input manager. Jump press does not exist in the current context. We don't care. Let that compile. So if we go to our A button here, our jump button, and then we put it into our input manager for the jump button object, hit play. In theory, so if I click anywhere, it doesn't jump, and if I click on A, nothing happened.
But you are clicking the jump button.
And it says jump button. So it's doing something. Input.getButton down jump button or input manager.instance.jump button. Does the other thing still work? Can I still jump if I use Z? Z works.
Interesting.
Okay, so we're doing some logic here that we don't want. So let's look at our input manager again. So jump button equals false. If hit.collider equals jump button object, jump button equals true. It is setting to true. This should be executing after input manager, so it should be set to true. I'm just going to do with debug.log. Debug.log input manager.instance.jump button. The instance thing is because our thing is a singleton, And so that's how you get at the one singleton that's in the scene.
You're calling the instance of the singleton.
So I'm going to try this again.
What's our debug log look like? Nothing.
That's not right. Why are we not getting anything?
That is a good question.
Test plus. Let's try that.
We're still not getting anything.
And yet, it is still reacting, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's reacting, definitely.
How strange.
Oh, very strange, yes.
Why would this... So if you... Okay, let's test something else. Debug.log true. Debug.log false. I just want to see what this actually prints out in these cases, because this is what I'm feeding it to print. So if I hit play... It should be just spamming this. Like, that should be debug logging all the time. What is going on? Are we not using jump? We're not using jump, are we? It's in the character control. Yeah, it's in player character.
That would explain it.
That would explain it. Yay. Alright. I'm deleting jump. Die.
Oh, poor jump.
And I'm going to get rid of move left and right as well. Die. That way we won't make these mistakes in the future. So player character.
Move left or something like that. Move right still exists.
Move forward still exists.
Sorry.
We want that.
Oh, okay.
So that's what we use for our bullets.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. So so we're going to do it here. If input.get button down jump button, or input manager dot instance dot jump button. Save. See if it works now. Hit play. Go over here. Click on our A button. We jumped. It's amazing.
Look at that.
It's absolutely amazing. Whoa. That's interesting.
Why did it jump so high?
I'm not quite sure why it sometimes jumps high like that. It's probably a bug that we never noticed before because I couldn't click buttons fast enough to actually have that happen.
Oh, good point.
So, yeah, that's what I'm going to guess on that one.
We're not going to worry about that at the moment.
No. So we've got jump working. That's good. That's one thing. At least we got one of them down. So let's see if we can figure out a way to do jump button down real quick. So if jump button equals true... So... And so we set false at every frame. That's our problem. That's ruining some of our ability to actually do stuff. Let's
see. I'm curious what I did.
Alright, so what I'm going to do here is at the end of it, if jump button equals true, equals true, if jump button, I think we need to tell it specifically. So if jump button, I'll be specific, equals true. Don't know what it wanted to do there at all. So if jump button equals true, then we want if jump button down equals false, then we set jump button down to true, equals true. Else jump button down equals false, actually, because we only want it to go for one frame. So if it's false, that means that it's not on. We want to turn it on for one frame. And then, so this will be false after the first frame, although it'll be true the next one. Dang it, that didn't solve my problem. Jump button down equals false. So if it's true, it could be true for the last several frames.
Mm-hmm.
So we shouldn't reset jump button down to false. Okay, screw it. I know what we're gonna do. This will be easier. We'll just make the case of if mouse button down. We'll just do it this way. And so in this case, we want jump button down to be true. And we want it to be false in every other case, so we'll set jump button down equals false. And this one will be on touch down. And then let's quickly redo this for the touch side as well, which we didn't support quite yet. So we're going to do what we're doing here. So if hit.collider jump button object, else, then we do this thingy.
Okay.
And so this is our jump button case, and then we need to additionally do, so we already do jump button down false and jump button false, so that we don't need to do that again. And I'm going to just put all of this, so this one will be if touch dot phase equals touch phase dot began. Then we do this. And then if I guess we could probably do the raycast on the outside of that, couldn't we?
The touch phase began?
So that we don't do multiple raycastings.
Yeah.
We could do that in this case too, couldn't we? That's better. Let's do it.
I think so.
Let me see if I can do it real quick in the mouse case, and if I can't, I'm not going to do it in either case. So if we do, if we pull this out to here, raycasts aren't particularly expensive, but you don't want to do more than you have to. So if we can get it done in one raycast, let's do it in one raycast. So if we if input.get button, yeah, we can do this. Then we do all this stuff. If input, whoops, get mouse button. Where did I get input.get button? That was stupid. And then we do the rest of this. If input.get button, mouse button down. So now we only do one raycast. So this raycasts all the time, but it only, okay, yeah, that'll be fine. one raycast per frame isn't going to kill us. Or one raycast per frame per touch isn't going to kill us either, because we're going to need them in almost all cases on the touch, always, because you're touching, so you want that. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do the raycast on the outside here. And then we will do... oh, wait, no, we have to do it on the inside of the for each loop.
Mm-hmm.
So, for each touch and input touches, we can do it outside here, though. So, do a raycast. And then we put the touch phase check. Touch phase, touch began. Move all this stuff out one. And so this is on touch down actually now. Jump button down. And then I guess I could have copied and pasted this before that. So I didn't have to change it twice, but whatever. Jump button equals true. And on touch over. So we do. Okay, so this one we do over first for some reason, but it doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to move this so it's actually in the right spot. Alright, in theory, all of this should work. I have a feeling it's not going to, but I think theory sound. Hit cannot be declared. Why can't it be declared? Parent scope to something else. Oh, I see. I don't need this at all.
Yeah, because it's declared earlier.
Yep. Save. Oh, wait, and we don't need a second raycast here either. That's what we were trying to save ourselves from. Alright. Alright, I think this will do what we want to do. So I'm going to hit play. And so this should do the same thing that it was doing before, where it repeats jumps. Now, if we go into our player character and we change this to input manager.instance.jump button down, it should only jump once per click now. So if I click it, and I click it again, yay, it works.
Good.
Amazing. I'm using the keyboard to move left and right now. Let's see if it actually works on the touch real quick. Oh, wow, is it already 9:30?
It is.
That went quick. That went real quick. Alright.
Let's build it.
Well, at least we got something working.
Yeah, absolutely.
Place.
This touch stuff is not easy.
It's touchy. It's touchy.
I mean, the lines... I had 500 lines of code in my input manager in my game, or something like that.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
I think we can get under that.
I'm sure you can. I have a lot of weird cases, like with Game Center stuff, and
oh yeah, exactly. The thing is, like as we've discussed, edge cases are where everything becomes unglued. Like you end up in this situation like, oh, what about when I do this? And you're like, hadn't thought of that.
And then you have to pretty much go
handle
through
it.
and handle it in various ways that you may or may not have been expecting.
Such a small jump button on the screen.
Oh, it's tiny. It's loading. It's linking.
I've actually never done a touch controls interface before, believe it or not. Well, I've done object picking before, like
yeah,
menus and stuff, very simple stuff, but never virtualized buttons. Mostly because I don't like virtualized buttons in games. But yeah, I think this is it's fun to figure this stuff through sometimes.
It's a challenge.
Like what I'd used in my previous projects that served me well enough is this detect clicks and touches script, which actually I think I've got a link to it somewhere. I'll link to it somewhere on the forum. But basically, this one does what we did here. It just sends the message, and it only sends clicked. That's what I called it. It's just clicked. And so it's good for if you just have a menu that needs to know when it's been clicked.
Yes.
And not good for much else. So Unity screen's up. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the video, and I'm going to see if I can play this backwards. We'll see if we get our character to jump. So I'm clicking somewhere random, doesn't do anything. I'm clicking on the... Oh!
There he goes, he's jumping.
He's jumping. I'm probably missing the button. Yeah,
There,
I migrated.
Can make this work a little easier.
Oh, you want to... Oh, perfect. Yeah, you touch it.
Touch.
Don't make your buttons this small, folks.
Yeah,
We're going to fix that in the next episode, but...
Very difficult to touch.
But it does work. And if you hold it, does it jump repeatedly?
Nope.
Nope. Perfect. Are we going? Is it still working?
I don't know. Only time will tell.
Okay, hit refresh on here. So
It says we are.
all right. So instead of hitting stop on the iPhone, I hit stop on my recorder. So let me switch back.
Well, let's hope that we are still.
Let's hope that we're still here.
Here.
I'm going to just assume that we are for right now. Initial. No, not what I wanted. Main screen. All right. So hopefully we're here. If not, it was a shorter episode than we were expecting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit stop on this thing now, and we'll do the rundown as if everything is working just fine.
Sounds like a plan.
Gonna save scene, save project, and go to our face again. I guess I didn't need to switch back, did I? Just the face. So thank you for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Hope you guys had fun. Hope that we're actually recording right now. Not sure if we are.
Yeah.
But if we're not, it's not a huge loss. We got to the end of the episode, basically, I think.
Could be much worse.
So, thanks for joining us. If you have any questions, email me at pushypixels@pushypixels.com. You can also tweet me at Drakfire. And you should buy Phil's games Robot Alone. It's on iOS. It's fun.
Thank you. You can email me if you want. It's philip@protosoftworks.com. Or you can follow me on Twitter, which I'm more active sometimes than others, and that's at Magma Lemur. That's the little @ Magma Lemur. And you should donate to Cooking with Unity. It's on the front page of our YouTube channel. It's in the upper right-hand corner if you're on a browser of some sort. Click a little button.
And we have swag. I don't have the swag here, but you get donation rewards at the $5 and $10 marks and $15 marks, or is it $20 mark? I forgot for the coaster. Coasters are sent out. Keychains have been sent out a long time ago. You should have already had them. If you don't have them, email me. Coasters, if you don't or do have them, email me. Just say hi, and just be like, "What's the state?" Because I haven't heard anything from people to see if they've gotten them yet, and so I'm worried about that.
Status of anything is good.
I don't trust shipping at all, ever. So, yeah, thanks for joining us, and you guys have a great week.
Have a good evening, night, day, whatever it is for you.
All right. Now I'm just going to talk for a little bit.
So
did anyone actually message and say that we're still on? Can you actually check the stream to see? Because I don't care if you check the stream now. If something screws up on our internet now, I don't really care.
Says we're live.
Says we're live. That looks promising.
That does look promising. So, you want to see something funny on my input manager?
The top of your input manager literally says, copyright 2012 Maximilian Wolfgang Moreau. You obviously never changed the comment on that, even though this is very much not mine anymore.
No. As I said, like, I have direct references to my other managers.
Oh, so you didn't go Singleton pattern, you did...
No, I didn't need to in this game because it's a single scene game. I am doing a raycast outside of this, but it's only checking if it's in this application.
Yeah.
And as I said, like referencing direct finger IDs. This is a call to the player to actually shoot left. There's button managers to shoot left, and for every button, I have special cases. and I check if the touch phase ends and reset the button ID or the
Yeah, we're
finger
gonna
IDs and stuff like that.
I would like to get this input manager to the point where it's as fancy as this, at least.
Mine's pretty fancy. I mean, as I said, this is I think that was all the input manager. Now it's on the mouse.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. So it's just
it's like 250 lines of code to actually do the input manager part of it.
What are we at right now for our lines of code on our current input manager?
Probably near 100.
Yep, we're at 116.
So
250 is not too bad.
No, I've
we'll probably
spent a lot of time on this
support
thing.
all the things that I thought I was going to just belt out on the show, which obviously didn't happen.
This
But
input stuff's really tricky. I spent a lot of time trying to get this stuff right.
I think I'm probably going to take a good chunk of my weekend and make sure that I am not coding myself into a corner before next episode, so that we can have a solid, speedy remainder of the implementation, and then maybe implement things that just make it so. It would be great if at the end of this I could just have a file that I could just throw up on a server and people download, and instead of the usual. It's like, so if I want to do buttons in my game, what do? My usual answer is I say buy Simple Touch, because it's actually a really good package, but it's not perfect. Like if I was writing it, I'd write it slightly differently, and that's kind of what this is going to represent eventually, I think. So, and then I won't have to use Easy Touch. Easy Touch is what it's not called, not Simple Touch. But it's a good little package. It has some minor problems. Main one is it only supports single camera. So if you have your UI on a separate camera, that doesn't work so great. Ours only supports a single camera right now too. It assumes main camera, but we will change that. So
this is so funny to me, the way that my game is actually.
You're looking at your game. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's so ridiculous, and since it's I
love your little terrain that you have in there. That's just so great.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on this thing, like the 5 o'clock positions.
Here, can I swing my camera around so you?
Oh, God.
Would this bother you if we looked at your computer?
No.
I'll try not to look at you too much. There's Phil's game.
Yeah.
And his scene.
That's the black outline, and you should move it down just a little bit like that, so you can see there's my game view, and yeah, that's literally my game.
It's actually incredibly uncomfortable holding a laptop like this.
Yes, it is. You should.
I'm just using the built-in on my laptop for the video, so.
All
right. So anyway, thank you very much for joining us, and you guys have a great night again.
Have a good night.
Stop stream.